That the committee has a lot of work to execute. Mr. Speaker, can I be allowed to read in silence?
Honorable Senators.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting me. Appreciating that the committee has a lot of work to execute before conclusion of its inquiry and reporting to the Senate. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the ad hoc committee for a further period not exceeding 100 days from 11th of March 2024 to enable and to table its final report to the Senate on or before 19th of June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee was able to meet victims and the lawyers and the next of kin of the victims' representatives in various victims attended meetings where it received both oral and submissions from the victims. The committee also attended both the victim prayer meeting on the 5th of August 2023 to commission the bomb blasts on the 7th of August 2024 at the Memorial Park. Honorable Speaker, the committee met the Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Health and of Labor and Social Protection and the Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Minister of Interior and National Administration. The committee was also able to meet with the National Council of Persons Living with Disability. Mr. Speaker, sir, though the committee was unable to secure appointment with the U.S. ambassador to Kenya and the U.S. Congress, Senate, Senator Daniel Manzo and I were able to attend the National Prayer Breakfast at Washington, D.C., where we were able to meet various...
Senator Newton.
Various...
Senator Kavindo, just hold. Senator Newton, you're becoming notorious and consulting rather loudly. At this juncture, I will invoke Standing Order 121-2A, and I'll proceed to caution you. Any further breach, we'll see you leave the chamber. Proceed, Senator Kavindo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We were able to meet various senators. We were able to meet Senator Chris Coons and other congressmen on this issue. Mr. Speaker, Senator Coons, as the chairman of the very important committee of the U.S. Senate, is very instrumental in the proposed and the ad hoc committee in amendment of the Justice for United States Victims of the State-Sponsored Terrorists Act 34 U.S.C. 112144, which provides for the establishment of the administration of the U.S. Victim State-Sponsored Victim Terrorist Fund to provide compensation to the U.S. persons who were injured in the Act International State-Sponsored Terrorist Fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, I had the privilege to be part of the Senate delegation to Tanzania, where we met the Deputy Speaker of the Tanzanian Parliament and the Chairperson of the Foreign Defense and Homeland Security Committee of Tanzania, and I briefed them on what our committee was doing, taking into consideration that Tanzania was one of the countries that also suffered on attack.
Nasimama na ni senator. Tafadhali kaa chini.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Taking into consideration that Tanzania was one of the countries that also suffered in the attack at the period, they resolved that they would table a similar motion in their parliament, and they would work closely and work to ensure compensation was done. Mr. Speaker, we've been able to do much, and I'll ask Senator Commissioner Joyce to second this motion.
Senator Joyce, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to congratulate the committee, on the ad hoc committee, for the wonderful job that they have done. I know, Honorable Speaker, this is one of the committees that is supposed to meet with the several stakeholders, because the populace victims have been waiting for this compensation for long. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that giving them time to still fast-track these will really answer the issues or the cries of the victims. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to second. Thank you.
Put the question.
Take a seat, Senator Kinyon Boni. Senator Boni. Now, honorable senators, I'll proceed to propose the question. That aware that at the sitting of the Senate held on the 29th of June 2023, the Senate resolved to establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the compensation to the Kenyan victims of the 1998 bombing of the United States of America Embassy in Nairobi, and report back to the House within 3 months of its establishment. Further, aware that on the 3rd of October 2023 and on the 15th of October 2023, the Senate resolved to renew the mandate of the ad hoc committee for a further period not exceeding 45 days and a further period not exceeding 100 days from the 10th of November 2023 respectively, to enable the committee to finalize and table its report in the Senate on or before the 18th of February 2024. Appreciating that the committee has a lot of work to execute before conclusion of its inquiry and reporting to the Senate, now therefore the Senate resolved to renew the mandate of the ad hoc committee for a further period not exceeding 100 days from the 11th of March 2024, and to table its final report in the Senate on or before the 19th of June 2024. Now, honorable senators, this is a procedural motion. It is your motion, but it's a procedural motion. You may elect to debate this motion, or you may allow the chair to proceed to put the question so that you make a decision on whether to renew or not to renew. Very well. Now, with your concurrency, honorable senators, allow me to put the question. That aware that at the sitting of the Senate held on the 29th of June 2023, the Senate resolved to establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the compensation to the Kenyan victims of the 1998 bombing of the United States of America Embassy in Nairobi, and report back to the House within 3 months of its establishment. Further, aware that on the 3rd of October 2023 and on the 15th of November 2023, the Senate resolved to renew the mandate of the ad hoc committee for a further period not exceeding 45 days and a further period not exceeding 100 days from the 10th of November 2023, respectively, to enable the committee to finalize and table its report in the Senate on or before the 18th of February 2024. Appreciating that the committee has a lot of work to execute before conclusion of its inquiry and reporting to the Senate, now, therefore, the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the ad hoc committee for a further period not exceeding 100 days from the 11th of March 2024 and to table its final report in the Senate on or before the 19th of June 2024. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, establishment of a special committee to investigate and report on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion on the establishment of a special committee to investigate and report on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Mr. Speaker, sir, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024, the Kisii County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And further, whereas by a letter dated 1st March 2024 and received in the office of the Speaker, the Senate on the 2nd March 2024, the Speaker of the Kisii County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act and the Standing Order 81(b) and 9 of the Senate by resolution may appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act and the Standing Order number 81(b) and 9, the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising of the following senators. 1, Senator Seki Olekanar. 2, Senator David Wafula Wakoli. 3, Senator Mariam Sheikh. 4, Senator Joe Nyotu. 5, Senator James Lomonen. 6, Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. 7, Senator Okio Mtata. 8, Senator Beth Siengo. 9, Senator Isa Juma Boy. 10, Senator Shakila Abdallah. 10, Senator Shakila Abdallah. 11, Senator Crystal Lasige, to investigate the proposed removal from office of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, and pursuant to Standing Order number 82, to report to the Senate within 10 days of its appointment on whether or not its particulars of the allegations against the Deputy Governor to have been substantiated. Mr. Speaker, I repeat a phrase that I have said here many times, that in my experience as a senator, I have not found a way that you'd say is either perfect or imperfect in the consideration of an impeachment hearing. Both methods as provided for in the County Governments Act and our standing orders, either by way of a special committee or, Mr. Speaker, by plenary, are effective. Both have their own defects and weaknesses, and therefore it is for the House to elect. This is a proposal from SPC, once considered. But I want to reiterate, Mr. Speaker, that on this matter, the final decision lies with the members of this House. If the members do elect, Mr. Speaker, as we have proposed, to go way of committee, I will be glad to proceed with that particular business as proposed, Mr. Speaker. If they elect otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we are ready for duty as well. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a straightforward matter. It's not by decision alone. It's a decision of the SPC, and the final decision is by the House. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, with those very few remarks, because this is a fair issue, I wish to request the Senator for Nairobi to second this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I had in fact indicated to the leader of my majority, my friend, the Senator for Kericho, that I intend to withdraw my support for this motion this afternoon for the following reasons, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, it is a fact.
So are you seconding or not? He's looking for a seconder. If you're not seconding, just take your seat.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I cannot do that.
Okay, then take your seat.
I wanted to give the
No,
reasons.
you don't have to give reasons. We have to get a seconder for you to get an opportunity to give reasons.
Okay, allow me to begin with the tail, then come to the head, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the meeting of SBC this Tuesday.
Senator Sifuna.
Yes.
Are you seconding this motion?
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I cannot second this motion.
Then just take your seat.
Thank you.
Honorable Senators. Order. Order. Majority Leader. You clearly do not have a seconder for this motion. Just have your seat. Have your seat, Majority Leader. Now, Senator Mandago, you freeze, you don't walk. Now, the motion for the establishment of a special committee, having suffered that setback, the fallback position is that this matter shall be heard in plenary. I will therefore be giving further directions in due course. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole, the Water Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 33 of
Order,
2023.
order, honorable senators, order.
Division. Order number 11, Committee of the Whole, the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, Division.
Order, order, senators. Order, please resume your seats so that we can proceed. There's no need for division. Yeah. Honorable Senators. Order, Honorable Senators, please resume your seats. Honorable Senators, we have an amendment on the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2023, for one clause, clause number 12, which we have to deal with before we go for division. So I call upon the Chair, Committee of Water, please proceed. Move the amendment.
Honorable Chairperson, I propose that clause 12 be amended, that clause 12 of the bill be amended in the proposed new section 119(2) by inserting the following new paragraph immediately after paragraph C. Two persons, a man and a woman, who possesses a degree from a university recognized in Kenya and at least 5 years experience in a relevant field, nominated by the Council of County Governors.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed. Division at the end. Can we ring the bell for division, please? Ring the bell for 5 minutes, but when you attain quorum, we'll stop it. We can stop the bell. We seem to have quorum. Sergeant at Arms, please close the door and draw the bars. Honorable Senators, we are about to commence voting. Please remove your cards from the system. Pull out your cards so that we can log in again. Sergeant at Arms, you can check for any cards that are still in the console. Okay, Honorable Senators, you can insert your cards and log in again. So I put the question that clause 11 be deleted. You can start voting. Shut up in a vote. What is this microphone? And who? Is Senator Umgeni here? Senator Osotsi, please approach the desk. Senator Eddie Okech, please approach the desk. Senator Ogola, which is, she's yes, mine is there. Senator Kinyo, please approach. Kinyo. Senator Mundingi, Senator of Embu, Senator of Embu. Okay, honorable senators, please resume your seats. We want to vote for the next amendment. And please ensure that you vote electronically. Huh? Honorable senators, Senator of Embu, please resume your seat. Senator Wajir Abbas, Senator Abbas, please. Cherargei, Sigei, more fire. Senator Beatrice, resume your seat, please. Senators, I want to urge that you vote electronically so that we save on time. So I put the question that clause 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, and clause 2 be amended as proposed. You can start voting. Okay, honorable senators, let's proceed to the next division. Let them. Okay, honorable senators, please get ready to vote for the next division. Okay, honorable senators, Senator Kavindu, we want to vote. Senator Thangwa, we want to start voting, please. Proceed to your sitting area. Honorable senators, I put the question that clause 3 as amended, clause 4 as amended, clause 5 as amended, clause 6 as amended, clause 7 as amended, clause 8, clause 9 as amended, clause 10 as amended, clause 12 as amended, clause 2 as amended, the title and the clause on clause 1 be part of the bill. You can start voting. Senator Eddie Okech. Senator Eddie Okech. May I talk? Honorable Senators, these are the results. The results are as follows. For Division 1, Ayes 40, Noes 1, Absentia 0. Ayes have it. Division 2, the results are as follows. Yes 39, No 2, Absentia 0. Yes, Ayes have it. Division 3, results are as follows. Yes 34, Noes 4, yes 35, Noes 4, Absentia 0. The ayes have it. Honorable Senators, we now proceed to the next bill, the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, I put the question that Clause 3, Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6, Clause 7, Clause 8, Clause 9, Clause 10, Clause 11, Clause 12, Clause 13, Clause 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, Clauses 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, Clauses 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, Clause 2, the title, and Clause 1 be part of the bill. Honorable Senators, you can start voting. Honorable Senators, continue voting. I think we're missing. Yeah. Eddie, have you voted? Beatrice? Senator More Fire. Approach. Honorable Senators, the results are as follows. For the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2023. Yes, 35, no, 3, abstention 0. The ayes have it. Can we have the chair for Water Amendment Bill 2023, Senator Methu, to move to reply? Okay, Majority Leader, proceed, please.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Committee of the Whole do report to the Senate its consideration of the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 3 of 2023, and its approvals thereof with amendments. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover to report, please, on the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29, 2023.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the Committee of the Whole do report to the Senate its consideration of the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments. I ask Senator Commissioner Vice Chair, without amendments. Commissioner.
Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Committee of the Whole do report to the Senate its consideration of the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, and its approvals thereof without amendments. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
I now call upon, you can draw the bars and open the door. Honorable Senators, we are commencing this session, and I call upon the chairperson of the water, the one pushing the Water Amendment Bill 2023 to report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023, and its approvals thereof with amendments.
I call upon the mover to proceed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. I ask the Senator for Samburu, Senator Lelegwe, to second.
Madam Speaker, I second.
You didn't have the mic. I now call upon the chairperson to report on the committee.
The motion has been seconded. So we'll propose the question.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover the motion.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2023, be now read a third time. I call upon Senator Gloria Uroba to second.
Thank you, Speaker. I second.
Thank you, Senator Gloria. We'll do an electronic vote at the end. I propose the question that the Water Bill 2023 National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2023 be now read a second time. Be now read a third time. I put the question that the Water Amendment Bill 2023 National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2023 be now read a third time. Division will be electronic at the end. We'll move to the next bill, the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 23. And I will call the mover, the chairperson, to move.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, and its approvals thereof without amendments.
Thank you, Chairperson. I now call upon the mover to move the bill.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the said report.
Who is the seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I do second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the said report. I put the question that the Senate do agree with the Committee of the Whole in the said report. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. Now call upon The ayes have it. Now call upon the mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, be now read a third time.
Do we have a seconder?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I second.
I propose the question that, can you resume your seats, honorable senators? Honorable senators, I propose the question that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, be now read a third time. I put the question that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, be now read a third time. Honorable senators, we are now proceeding to division. We will first have the division on the first bill, the water bill, and then we proceed on to the second division. Voting will be electronic. Sergeant at arms, you can ring the bell for 1 minute. Honorable senators, you may proceed to log out. Those who are not seated, please resume your seats. Sergeant at arms, withdraw the cards that are not attended. You may draw the bar, Sergeant at arms, and close the doors. I'm going to. We are on the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2023. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Water Amendment Bill 2023, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023, be now read a third time. May proceed. proceed to vote. Senator Delegwe, can you approach the Secretariat desk? Honorable Senators, the results of the division on the water bill are as follows. The ayes 30, nays 6, abstentions 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Water Act 2016 to provide for the public-private partnerships arrangements and for connected purposes.
We are now proceeding for the next division on the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2023. And I now put the question that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, be now read a third time. Senators, you may log out and log back in. You can log back in. Sergeant at arms, check if there is any card unattended. Senators, you may proceed to vote. The following senators, please can you approach the clerk's desk for support? Senator Sigei Wakili, Senator Alan Chesan, Senator Lomenen. Kindly approach the clerk's desk. Senator Chute, can you come and vote manually at the clerk's desk? Yes. Honorable Senators, can you resume your seat? Senator Fatuma, can you resume your seat? Honorable Senators, these are the results of the division on the care and protection of the child parents bill. Ayes 36, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide a framework for the care and protection of child parents within the counties, to provide a framework through which an expectant girl child or a child parent may actualize their right to basic education and at the same time ensure the care of their children and for connected purposes.
Sergeant at arms, you can draw the bar and open the doors. Yes. Yeah. Honorable Senators, can resume your seats. I have communication from the chair. Honorable Senators, in the public gallery, we have 36 students from Gamina Girls High School in Kajiado County who are undertaking a one-day education tour in the Senate. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you, and I invite Senator Lelegwe, Senator Seki to receive the visitors today.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to welcome a student from Camila High School in Kajiado Town. And sorry for staying for a long time. I believe that you have really enjoyed and you've learned quite a lot. We've been having quite a number of activities here in the Senate. And I want to tell you that you're most welcome. I want to welcome you once again. As your Senator, Senator Seki, I know as you go back with your teachers, you'll go and share the notes of what we've been getting from this Senate. And I believe that, God willing, we'll definitely meet outside and say a word. Otherwise, thank you very much, and teachers, thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Honorable Senators, I have another communication to make on a visiting delegation from Samburu County. In the public gallery, we have a visiting delegation from Samburu County who are undertaking an education visit in the Senate. In our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. And I thank you. I want to now ask Senator Lelegwe and Senator Ledama to each take a minute to welcome the delegation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I join you in welcoming actually the petitioners from Samburu to the Senate. Madam Speaker, these are not just the visitors to the Senate. These are the petitioners to the Senate on issues of insecurity in Samburu County. Madam Speaker, they are not just also the petitioners, as I've mentioned, but our visitors today are the victims of insecurity in Samburu County. Here, I thank the chair of the National Security, Foreign Relations, and Defense for giving them time, opportunity to articulate the issues of insecurity in Samburu County, the issues that have affected the Kenyans that live there, for the loss of property, the loss of livestock, the loss of the farming land, and so many injustices that are being done to these people. Madam Speaker, this is a timely time where these visitors have come to visit the Senate, because we have a motion that's still alive in the Senate, where we are discussing, that was brought by the Chair of Defense, Security and Foreign Relations, to discuss issues of insecurity. And I urge all the senators to support the motion so that we contain the runaway insecurity in most parts of the country, especially in North Rift counties, including Samburu. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And now I can give Ledama, because you instructed both of us to welcome them. Thank you.
Asante Bi Speaker kwa kunipa nafasi hii ili niweze kuwakaribisha wageni wetu ambao wamekuja katika bunge letu la taifa kuweza kuweka dua kwa kuhusu hali ambaye inayozorotesha maisha katika mipaka yetu Samburu, Turkana na West Pokot. Mheshimiwa Speaker na Baringo pia. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni jambo la kusitisha sana katika century hii tukiona ya kwamba watu bado wanapigana, wanauana. Ni jambo ambalo linahuzunisha sana na ni kitu ambaye inatukera sana, na sisi wote kama viongozi lazima sote tusimame ili tuweze kuwasaidia wenzetu. Wamasai wetu ambao wanaishi Samburu wanaumia sana. Wanaumia kwa kila siku, wanawazika watoto wao ambao walikuwa wanaendelea tu na kazi yao. Kenya hii tunaumia sana. Na mimi ningependa kuwaomba wenzetu wanakamati wa kamati ile ya usalama katika Kenya hii ama security committee, dua hii ambaye imeletwa na wenzetu kutoka Samburu lazima tuitilie manani, na lazima tuhakikishe kwamba wenzetu kule wanaishi kwa amani. Ni aibu sana, nimeona mama mmoja hapa na wazee ambaye wamejikokota kutoka Samburu kuja mpaka hapa kutulilia sisi. Hiyo inamaanisha ya kwamba sisi ni watu ambaye Kenya hii yote imetuweka amani. Na itakuwa ni vibaya sana, Bi Speaker, kama hawa wametoka Samburu wamekuja hapa alafu kililio chao kiendelee piangamia patupu. Ndio ipasa na wakaribisha, na ndio tuliwaambia wabaki hapa waone ya kwamba hii jambo ambalo zimewakera pia sisi imetukera, na tutasimama na hao na tutaendelea wakitembea hapa. Hii ni nyumba yao na kilio chao ni kilio chetu. Asante Bi Speaker.
Senator Ledama, thank you, though you extended. I will give 1 minute each to Senator Chute and Senator Kinyua to welcome the delegation.
Asante sana, Madam Speaker. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii kukaribisha wageni wetu kutoka Samburu County. Vile unavyojua, Madam Speaker, nimetoka Marsabit County, mimi ni senator wa Marsabit County. County ya Samburu ni jirani yangu na tunapakana kwa barabara peke yake kwa mahali mingi. Madam Speaker, hao wageni wamekuja hapa leo, hawajakuja kutembelea Nairobi kuangalia museum ama national park. Wamekuja hapa wakileta kilio ya watu yao kutoka Samburu County. Madam Speaker, tangu Kenya ipate uhuru, hata kabla ya uhuru, sisi kwetu tunaitwa marginalized. Wakati Jomo Kenyatta ameingia tunaitwa marginalized. Wakati Moi ameingia, President Moi ameingia, tunaitwa marginalized. Wakati Uhuru Kenyatta ameingia tunaitwa marginalized. Hata sasa tunaitwa marginalized. Paka watu wetu, juzi kuna MCA ameuawa. Na kama viongozi kama hawa na uawa, kitu gani itafanya hata minister nchi asiuawe? Ningependa sana Madam Speaker, ile motion iko mbele yetu inaongea juu ya banditry. Banditry ni terrorism. Terrorism, watu wanachukua kama terrorism ni kitu muhimu sana. Banditry pia ni terrorism.
You need to wind up, your 1 minute is over.
Asante sana Madam Speaker. Hiyo motion tuhakikishe, ningeomba wenzangu tupitishe iwe ikitusaidia. Asante sana Madam Speaker.
Senator Kinyua, 1 minute only.
Asante Bispika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa nataka kupongeza Seneta wa Samburu kwa jukumu aliyochukua nzuri kabisa na kufuatilia mambo ya usalama katika sehemu ya Samburu. Usalama umekosekana si Samburu peke yake. Laikipia tunaishi kwa hali ya sintofahamu, ukitembea mpaka Baringo. Kwa hivyo nataka kushukuru. Na hasa seneta wa kutoka Nandi kwa sababu yuko mswada ameleta. Mswada ya kusema ya kwamba wizi wa mifugo wa kimabavu na wizi kama huo ni terrorist Bispika. Na kwa hivyo Bispika, kazi kuu ya serikali Bispika ni kulinda maisha na mali ya wananchi. Nataka kusema ya kwamba ninakemea vitendo ambavyo vinafanywa na hawa wahalifu Bispika, na serikali majukumu yake inapaswa wachukuliwe hawa magaidi, hawa wakora Bispika. Na kwa sababu tayari sisi tumejitolea kama bunge, misaada ambayo tunapitisha Bispika na hela ambazo serikali inatoza ushuru, tunapaswa kutununiwa vifaa dhabiti ya kupambana na hawa magaidi, hawa wakora Bispika. Naunga mkono, nasema asanti.
Thank you, Senator Kenywa. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 45-2, we reorganize the order paper, and instead of order number 12, we will be going to order number 13. And before we do that, I will ask the chair of Roads, Transport and Housing Committee to table the report. Senator Karungo Tangwa, table the report.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 7th March 2024. Report on the Study Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on the consideration of the Affordable Housing Bill 2023, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2023. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Next order.
Order number 13, the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bills number 75 of 2023, second reading.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2023, be now read a second time. Madam Speaker, as Leader of Majority, I've had opportunity to lead the session in moving many government bills. But this is one that sits in a pedestal of great pride doing this great task, Madam Speaker, this afternoon, because if there is a single government policy in the present administration's manifesto, otherwise known as a plan, that I strongly believe in and know that has the power to transform our country from a country that is dogged with poverty, sickness, and all the challenges that you can imagine, think of a poor African economy, and catapult us, Madam Speaker, into a middle-income status, courtesy of good planning, Madam Speaker, visionary leadership, and the determination to do the right thing, then it is this affordable housing program, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, many times when members of this House travel to various parts of the world, they are impressed by how cities are properly planned. They are impressed by how nations confront their challenges, Madam Speaker, and set their countries on a path of prosperity by making bold decisions. The affordable housing program, Madam Speaker, is a bold program. Madam Speaker, the reason we are here today is that you are aware that in November of 2023, the High Court ruled, Madam Speaker, that the affordable housing levy lacked a legal framework for implementation of the affordable housing program. And therefore, the court ruled further as well that in the context in which the levy had been designed, it was discriminatory. Discriminatory, Madam Speaker, because the levy is only charged upon those that are salaried employees. The rest of the citizens don't pay of it. And it has been debatable, Madam Speaker, why you are levying only salaried Kenyans. And therefore, there was an argument, which I don't agree with, Madam Speaker, but because we are a constitutional democracy, I respect the verdict of the court, though I greatly disagree with it in their view and the direction that we should charge this levy to all Kenyans, because by and large, that is what the courts are telling us. That is what LSK, for example, as an institution, are telling us as Parliament to do, that every Kenyan, including the ordinary citizens, those that they sometimes purport to represent in petitions, must pay this particular levy, Madam Speaker. It was the general thinking of many of us that given the fact that we live in almost a quasi-socialist state, Madam Speaker, any adult who lives in this country and has gone through public education has been educated through the taxes of other Kenyans. All of us in this House, Madam Speaker, including the members of staff. The reason why we have formal education is because those that in the 70s, in the 80s, and in the 90s when we went to school, there were people who are working, whose salaries were deducted, and that is what paid for our education. And the thinking then at that particular time was that to move forward this particular nation and to move citizens who don't live in decent households. Madam Speaker, further on while moving this bill, I'd wish to challenge people to read, because I've seen some fools out there tell us, who told you that Kenyans don't have houses? The Constitution does not just talk about houses. It talks about decent houses with access to good sanitation. And Article 43, economic and social rights in this country, Madam Speaker. Therefore, it was a thinking at that particular time that those of us that are well-to-do, that have a salary, that we form a very small portion of our country, Madam Speaker, would do well to support this program so that it benefits the entire country. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, LSK and the courts and all those that petition have asked that this be levied on all Kenyans, including those that don't have a salary. Since, like I have said, we are a constitutional democracy, we are left with very little to do other than to pass the bill as now proposed, so that for anybody to benefit under this program, be it under affordable or social housing, because there are two parts of this program, Madam Speaker, then they must at least pay something. It's not a very bad thing, Madam Speaker, because it's a show of commitment also on our citizens. Of course, Madam Speaker, the second thing is that it provides a legal framework establishing the board and the institution that will run this particular fund, Madam Speaker. I want to congratulate the Committee on Roads, Transport and Housing for working expeditiously over the last few days in ensuring that they give us this program. They ensure that they guide the House. I have seen they have tabled their report, Madam Speaker. They have listened to Kenyans. I followed last week when presenters came before them, including Juakali workers, ordinary citizens who are going to benefit out of this program, young people. In fact, Madam Speaker, affordable housing program is the wrong title for this program. This should be the jobs program for ordinary citizens, Madam Speaker, because millions of young people are going to be employed, from plumbers to masons, electricians, architects, carpenters, name it all, Madam Speaker, caretakers, many jobs that you can imagine that will arise out of the successful implementation of this program. The UN Habitat, Madam Speaker, has told us that by 2063, more than 50% of the world will be living in urban areas. When you fail to plan, Madam Speaker, you are planning actually to fail. If as a country we don't make a decision on what we are going to do with our urban population that is spiraling and growing, Madam Speaker, then in another 10, 20 years, we shall have slums in every part of this country. There is no county that you can think of that doesn't have a slum today because of lack of planning, because there is a need for housing within urban centers, Madam Speaker, yet there is no supply. The market has failed to supply good, decent, affordable houses, Madam Speaker. People don't live in the informal settlements in this city, for example, the Mukurus and the Kiberas, for lack of it. They would wish to live in a house with a good toilet, with a warm shower, Madam Speaker, but those houses are not affordable. They are not available. And that's why this program, like I've said, is revolutionary, can only be implemented by a bold leader. And I want to congratulate His Excellency the President. Because of the bold decision, he has spoken about this to the charging of many, including even some of his supporters, Madam Speaker, especially the salaried lot, who don't want to pay a price of patriotism. Yet, like I have observed earlier, anybody in this country who is an adult over the age of 18 and has gone through public education, Madam Speaker, needs to know that the most subsidized program in this country is our education program, right from 1963, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I went through Moi University, for example, for 4 years. The only fee that I paid is a total of 80,000 to get a university degree, 20,000 each financial year. It's because there were other Kenyans who were working and they were paying for my university education. How can I today look at them and claim, Madam Speaker, that I cannot part with 5,000 so that other citizens can live in decent households? There is no program under this administration that I believe better than this affordable housing program, Madam Speaker. Therefore, I want to urge colleagues, I don't intend to be extremely long on it because I know many colleagues want to speak on this particular program, Madam Speaker, and go into the details. But I urge you to support this program. It is properly defined. Now we have set the legal framework. We have set up the body that will guide the use of these funds together with the CEO and how to look into the issues of corporate governance of this fund, Madam Speaker. There is now no excuse why this program cannot run. Therefore, Madam Speaker, in the interest of time and to provide opportunity for many of our colleagues who want to speak into this program, I beg to move and request the Senator for Kiambu, Chairperson of Roads, Transport and Housing Committee, to second me. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Majority Leader. Senator Thangwa.
Madam Speaker, I stand to second for the Affordable Housing Bill to be read a second time. Madam Speaker, I am the chairperson of the Roads, Transportation and Housing Committee, Madam Speaker, and we took time together with the members of the committee and scrutinized this bill. I would want you to remember, Madam Speaker, that this bill was brought to the Senate after the passage at the National Assembly, Madam Speaker. But before I comment on what we did to this bill and what I'm urging the members of this House to support, Kenyans 14 years ago bestowed upon themselves the right to housing. Madam Speaker, you can read that in Article 43, 1B of the Constitution that says that it is a right for everybody to have a decent housing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, so that I can paint a clear picture, it has been in the news and all over that we have seen honorable members, not only from this House, trying to build decent houses to their constituents. Madam Speaker, without mentioning many names, I know we have seen it like Honorable Otiene Amolo, Honorable Didmas Barasa, even the AC, Senator Tom Ojienda. They have been seen online building some houses. But of course those houses are not as decent as it should be if we were to go with the Article 43, 1B of the Constitution. That's why this bill, Madam Speaker, is bringing decency to the people, dignity to the people of Kenya, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill, when it came to the Senate, when it came to the committee, we are even we redesigned so many things. We redesigned or amended, proposed so many amendments, Madam Speaker, because we saw from the bill that was really debated at the National Assembly, it was not catering for the rural areas, Madam Speaker. And that's why we are bringing amendment that we will be discussing going forward, Madam Speaker, that this bill will be able to build a decent house for somebody in the village who has land and all they want is a decent house, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are even suggesting to rename the bill Rural and Urban Affordable Housing Bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the bill
that is pulling resources together by forming this fund, Madam Speaker, and the fund is supposed to have these monies so that we can build decent houses, as I'm saying, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when we have these monies in one pool, we have, the bill is suggesting that every county will benefit. And Madam Speaker, because Article 96 of the Constitution says that we take care of the interests of the counties, we took that upon ourselves as a committee to even introduce something that was not there in the first place. That is county committees or county boards, so that they can also have a say within this affordable housing fund, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you will see going forward that every county will be having such a committee that will work closely with the national fund, Madam Speaker. As if that is not enough, Madam Speaker, we realize that this fund is collecting money from Kenyans, and these monies must also be channeled back to the counties. And we suggested, which we will be able to tell the House in the previous amendments, that some monies from this fund will have to go to the counties directly, so that every county can benefit from this fund, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we received over 29 memoranda when we told Kenyans to bring their opinions, to bring their suggestions. We received 29 memoranda. We even had to invite some stakeholders to come and appear before our committee. One of them was the Department of Housing, led by CS herself, Alice Wahome, together with the PS Hinga. We even had the Association of Architects, Madam Speaker, and they gave their views. We even had Juakali Association, Madam Speaker, and all of them, together with others, they were in support that Kenyans require and need decent housing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we looked at all those inputs that these people brought to us. Some of them we considered them. Some of them were already in the bill, Madam Speaker. And I want this House to understand that this bill, and that's why, Madam Speaker, we should always say every bill concerning counties must come to the Senate. When we looked at it, Madam Speaker, and I want to reiterate that point, and I want to repeat that point, that the fund itself somehow was working in isolation. But we had to loop in counties through the county boards, where the governors will have a say in those committees, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me explain it further. If there's a hustler somewhere, a border rider, maybe in a village where I was born, a village called Mitahato, and that person does not need a house in the urban area. They don't want to move to Nairobi. They don't want to move to Mombasa. Neither do they want to move to Kiambu town. They want to live in their area where they do their business. And maybe they have a piece of land. Maybe it's an inheritance from their fathers. Maybe they bought a piece of land. All they require is a decent house. But since they don't have money, Madam Speaker, why can't the government provide that housing for such a hustler? Madam Speaker, we have put that in this bill, that such a hustler will go to the mortgage schemes, the mortgage scheme that has been introduced by this bill, and through their voluntary saving, if they have saved, plus that title of that land they want to put up a house, they can get an affordable mortgage from the government so that they can build such a beautiful house according to their dreams, Madam Speaker, and where they belong and in the village. And how do we protect such funds from misuse, Madam Speaker? We use their savings as collateral, and we also use their land titles as collateral, Madam Speaker. With that, this bill has taken care of every Kenyan. Before, what was in the air, Madam Speaker, it seemed like we were only building houses for the urban areas, the skyscrapers, and all that, Madam Speaker. But through the amendments of this that will be brought by this committee, Madam Speaker, we will be building a house for everyone. Without taking much time, Madam Speaker, I would urge the members of this House to support this bill, because before we were saying that we were not involved. Now we are. We were saying the counties have not been looked into. We have factored that, Madam Speaker, by making those boards and also sending the funds, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill is what every Kenyan has been looking for. This bill is what even the courts said we should have, Madam Speaker. And by putting these structures together, we will be able to have or make this country a country whereby, Madam Speaker, everybody will have a decent house, everybody will have a decent home, and everybody will be able to have a house of their choice or a house of their liking, depending on the location and place where they come from. Madam Speaker, so that I can give others time, I second that this bill is read for a second time. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Senators, I now propose that the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bills number 75 of 2023, be now read a second time. Senator Tabitha, what's your problem? You have a point of order. You should state it expressly that you have a point of order. What's your point of order? Senator, use the next mic. Okay.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 111 to move that debate on the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bills number 75 of 2023, be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes per senator. I thank you.
The seconder?
I asked Mundigi to second the motion.
He is Senator Mudigi.
Senator Mudigi, Embu County, I am begging to second.
Honorable Senators, there is a motion in the House by Senator Tabitha, and I want to propose the question, but we can do it by concurrence. And I want to propose that the debate be limited to 4 minutes. Do we have concurrence, or we need to debate this? I put the question that this debate be limited to 4 minutes. By concurrence, every senator will take 4 minutes. Tom Ojenda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the Affordable Housing Bill. Madam Speaker, let me move to the... Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me a chance to contribute to the housing bill. Madam Speaker, the architecture of the Affordable Housing Bill as set out is founded under Article 43(1) of the Constitution as set out, and it aims to ensure that every Kenyan who makes a contribution to the fund as set out at 1.5% of the gross salary is eligible to apply for a house. Madam Speaker, the Leader of Majority has addressed the House today, and of importance, Madam Speaker, is the need for Kenyans not just to look at the housing bill as crafted, but to look at the entire project that goes into housing as a project. The entire framework that goes into housing, Madam Speaker, aims and will benefit Kenyans of all walks of life. The housing projects as conceived by the fund, Madam Speaker, will benefit and will be spread in every county of the 47 counties in this country. And we are aware, Madam Speaker, that even as this debate goes on after court proceedings on the initial act as set out, Madam Speaker, we know that there are active housing projects in counties like Homa Bay, in counties like Nyandarua, and those are already complete. And Madam Speaker, Kenyans should know that there are sectors, the support sectors in this country, including the Juakali sector, crafters and metal workers who have immensely benefited with the housing bill. Madam Speaker, on the question of eligibility, the framework of the affordable housing bill has set out eligibility at a level that will ensure that it is open for every Kenyan to contribute to the fund and therefore be eligible to secure, to be allocated a house as long as they make a contribution. I think this is an amendment that is important, Madam Speaker, because it then opens up the fund to other people who have the opportunity or the ability to contribute. On the question as to why, and I think, Madam Speaker, this is a sticky question, whether only employees should contribute, Madam Speaker, I think Kenyans should look at the framework of law as being constitutionally embedded and underpinned. The intention, Madam Speaker, is to move this country to a second-level economy, to ensure that we have affordable houses that citizens of this country can buy, and, Madam Speaker, including those who are previously would not have been able to purchase houses. Madam Speaker, I support this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me take this opportunity also to contribute to this amendment bill, Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2023. Madam Speaker, as a keen member of this committee and also a strong supporter now for this bill, I want to say we had a team from Buxton Estate, former tenants of Buxton Estate, some time back before our committee. They brought a petition to this house. And the major problem they brought before the committee was, number one, an affordability of those houses. Number two, an affordability of the finances. Madam Speaker, today I'm proud to say and also thank my committee members that we've amended a lot of things based on the experience we've had through what Buxton Estate tenants brought before us. Madam Speaker, with your kind indulgence, sometimes last year, when we had this petition, the committee recommended that the former tenants should be housed, should be given those houses. There are almost, I think, 184 tenants which were not, up to today, not given those houses. Madam Speaker, the residents of Buxton Estate had found themselves in a situation where they had been evicted out of the homes. They had been long time residents of those homes. Madam Speaker, the houses that we are living in were demolished and replaced by beautiful apartments. And the contract between the developers and the county government was not sufficient enough to accommodate those former tenants. Madam Speaker, this bill is part of an effort to create a legal framework for affordable housing units. One of the strongest complaints that committees was confronted with is the Buxton petition. Madam Speaker, the clause 2 and clause 47 have gone ahead to both define an affordable housing unit and furthermore to compel the cabinet secretary responsible for housing to define the parameters of an affordable housing. Madam Speaker, When the committee faced this Pakistan petition, the biggest problem we had, Madam Speaker, was how to pass this bill so that they can be accommodated.
Senator Chute, time up for you.
Madam Speaker, just give me 1 minute.
Time up, Senator. Give me a seat. Senator Olekina Ledama.
Let me start by saying that I oppose this bill. I oppose this bill because this bill is unconstitutional. This bill, it doesn't matter how you look at it, it doesn't matter how anyone tries to pamper it, this is a merely clawing back on devolution. Madam Speaker, if you look at the Constitution of Kenya, housing is a devolved function. You know, one of our biggest problems in this country is that we want to be able to live in space. It's a beautiful place there, but I want to beg all of you to try and come back to reality that we are not yet there. Madam Speaker, housing being pushed by the national government is a failure. In fact, historically in this country, if you go to the posh neighborhoods now, Lavington, Kileleshwa, you go to Makadara, you go to Loresho, those were all government housing. And they were all intended to be able to better the poor. But what has happened? It is now the rich and famous who live there. Madam Speaker, I want to disabuse this belief that Kenyans will be able to get good houses. In fact, all of you who are seated here have not gotten your houses from affordable housing. What Kenyans want, Madam Speaker, is an enabling environment. Kenyans want, they desire free financing to be able to build their homes, Madam Speaker. Kenyans desire affordable materials for them to be able to build their housing. But what we are doing, Madam Speaker, is that we are just busy lining people's pockets. The biggest problem we have in this country, Madam Speaker, and this is why I oppose this bill, is that everything being done, even this bill right now being passed here, it is purely for commercial purposes. There are people who already have their contracts in their pockets, knowing they will build estates, affordable houses estate. It's ridiculous, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what is important, and I think it is important for us to really be alive to the fact, the 4 minutes is really a way of even curtailing debate. I can say that because it is important for Kenyans to know. Even the 3% which is being proposed to be deducted from salaries, there is also another penalty of another 3% if you don't submit that money within 30 days. Madam Speaker, this bill, I wanted to say so much, but I can see the light is already on, is that the government will never succeed. This government has to make up its mind. Is it a democratic state that creates an enabling environment for everyone to do their business, or is it a socialist state? Government cannot do everything for people. Government should just create a good environment and allow people to build their houses. County government should be allowed to build houses for their staff. Madam Speaker, we know Kenya is getting free money from Japan, where the interest rate is 0. Why not apply that interest rate, which is 0, and give it to Kenyans for them to be able to build their own houses? This is wrong, my colleagues.
Senator Ledama,
and I want to beseech you.
Time up. Time up. Honorable Senators, I have a communication from the chair to make on the proposed removal from the office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Can you resume your seat, Honorable Senator? So we will interrupt that debate and resume after this communication. Honorable Senators, as you are aware, the Majority Leader moved the motion at order number 9 on today's order paper for the establishment of a special committee to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. The motion was not seconded and therefore withdrawn pursuant to Standing Order 71, which states the question on any motion shall not be proposed unless it shall have been seconded, and any motion that is not seconded shall be deemed to have been withdrawn and shall not be moved again in the same session unless with the permission of the Speaker. Honorable Senators, as I communicated earlier by way of message on the resolution of the Kisii County Assembly made on Thursday, 29 February 2024, for the removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, Section 33(3)A of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 81B of the Senate provides that the Senate may, 1, by resolution appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter, or 2, investigate the matter in plenary. 3, the motion having been withdrawn pursuant to Standing Order 71, the route of a special committee is abandoned, and that now implies that the Senate will investigate the proposed removal from the office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, in plenary pursuant to Section 33(3)A of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 81B2. Honorable Senators, at its meeting held on Tuesday, 5th March 2024, the Senate Business Committee considered the provisional dates for this investigation in the event that the matter was to be investigated in plenary. In line with the schedule of activities for an impeachment hearing in plenary, I hereby give the following directions. A, the clerk to issue invitations to appear to the parties by tomorrow. I believe it's invitations to the parties to appear by tomorrow, Friday, 8th March 2024. B, the parties to file their responses with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by Monday, 11th March 2024 by 5 p.m. C, the clerk to circulate documents received from the parties, including the plenary hearing program, to all honorable senators by 11 a.m. on Tuesday, 12th March 2024. And D, the Senate shall then investigate the matter in plenary on the Wednesday, 13th March, and on Thursday, 14th March 2024. The Senate is accordingly guided. I thank you. Signed. We resume the debate. Senator Wakili Sigei Hilali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to, from the very onset, confirm that I support this particular bill. Madam Speaker, when we went to campaign to form the government that is in place, there was a promise that was made to the people of Kenya. This bill, Madam Speaker, seeks to fulfill that promise, where in the objects to the bill, it is seeking to provide a framework for development and access to affordable housing and institutional housing and for connected purposes. And therefore, Madam Speaker, part of that which we are seeking to do is to fulfill the promise that was made to the people of Kenya in the course of the campaigns. And Madam Speaker, I would like to invite my very good friend and neighbor, Senator Olekina, to read in detail and as a whole the provisions of the Constitution of Kenya, which he made reference to, Article 43(1)(b). More importantly, Schedule 1, Part 1, Section 20, and Fourth Schedule, Part 2, that gives the role of the National Assembly, of the national government and the county governments. That way, he will be able to appreciate the fact that this bill does not, and I repeat, does not take off the role of any level of government from the other. It only seeks to establish that fact. Madam Speaker, in the interest of time.
Resume your seat, Senator Hillary. What's your point of order, Senator Ledama?
Madam Speaker, I would hate to correct my brother. My point was very clear. National government deals with the issue of policy. But if you look at standing, are you the speakers?
Allow him to finish what
if
he's saying.
If you go to the Constitution, on Schedule 4, I think even Section 18, you will see that housing is a function of county government. The policy is only on national government. So I just want to clarify that to my brother, because he's misleading the House.
Thank you. Senator Wakili, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I actually indicated that my colleague would really understand if he read as a whole, not selectively, the provisions of the 4th schedule, Part 1, and 4th schedule, Part 2, on the role of the 2 levels of government. Madam Speaker, in the interest of time, I will specifically go to very critical provisions of this bill, and I would like to applaud the committee and of course the committee that is chaired by the senator from Kiambu on the very specific provision that they've given us under Part 5 of the bill on the eligibility criteria and application procedure for affordable housing, where under Section 39, subsection 3, it provides on how the housing will be allocated. And in this case, Madam Speaker, it's given very specific preference under subsection 3 to the vulnerable people within the society, that is with regards to the people who are marginalized, the people who are youth, women and persons with disability. In that provision, Madam Speaker, it is confirming the affirmative action that we debate almost on every other motion that is brought to this House in terms of ensuring that Kenyans are made to access housing equally and also other relevant government services. Secondly, Madam Speaker, under the miscellaneous provisions, this is a very key. Madam Speaker, can I be heard in silence?
Senator Wakili Sigei, your time is actually up. The 4 minutes are gone. So, Senator Sigei, time is up. Senator Abdul Haji.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. Madam Speaker, nataka kuendelea. I need protection, Madam Speaker. The people are consulting very loudly.
Silence, good people.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill.
Senators, consult in low tones. Please allow him to have the floor.
Madam Speaker.
Senator Omutata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for your protection. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this bill because I feel that this bill seeks to address the issues raised by the High Court. Madam Speaker, I also support the bill because the need for affordable housing in Kenya is underpinned by a housing deficit. As reported by the 2018 report by the Kenya Association of Property Developers, a deficit of 2 million. And this problem has been persistent, and the previous government has not been able to address
Senators,
this matter.
can we consult in low tones, please?
Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, I also realize that there are several issues that have still to be addressed, but I will only touch on one that is that I feel that is close to me and the people I represent. Madam Speaker, this bill talks about a loan facility, and it also talks about an interest rate, although they have not pegged on what the interest rate will be, and that is a matter of concern, Madam Speaker. But I feel that it actually excludes the Muslims of this country because of the interest element. Madam Speaker, Muslims in this country cannot avail themselves to the loan facility because of the presence of interest, contravening Islamic financial principles. This omission raises questions to the inclusivity of the policy to the Muslim community in Kenya. Madam Speaker, I would urge that alternative financing options in line with Sharia principles to be included into the policy to enable Muslims in Kenya to feel included and be able to participate in the fund. Madam Speaker, I thank you and I support.
Thank you. Senator William Kipkemoi Kisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill, the Affordable Housing Bill. Madam Speaker, as Kenya Kwanza legislators, there is a promise that we made to the people of Kenya when we went around campaigning for the presidency in 2022, Madam Speaker, that we'll be able to ensure our people get affordable houses, our people get universal health coverage. That's why, Madam Speaker, the High Court had an issue when this affordable housing levy came in, because there was no legislation in place. This is as a result of the ruling by the High Court, Honorable Speaker, that we have this bill, so that there is some framework for implementation of this affordable housing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you know, it's sometimes very difficult for leaders to make some difficult decisions, but we applaud our President and the Deputy President for agreeing that to make this very difficult decision to help our people. Madam Speaker, other countries that have developed because of making tough decisions, I believe Kenya, with Kenya Kwanza in power, in the next few years, Kenya will be like Singapore, will be like Mauritius, it will be like other countries that were at the same stage as Kenya in 1970s, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I believe Senator, as soon as the law is passed, Madam Speaker, there will be regulations in place. Yes?
The chair is not.
Oh, yeah.
Madam.
Oh, sorry. In fact, the speaker who was before you is just next to me. I don't know, I had not seen. I didn't want you to be. I'm told, Mr. Speaker, that because likely very soon, if the candidate for governor is a man, the deputy will be a woman, and the president and the vice versa, and some of us might change our genders, you know, to qualify. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe as soon as the bill is ascended to Mr. Speaker, the regulations will be put in place to actualize, so that those who really deserve to benefit, they benefit, so that those who are rich. In the past, Mr. Speaker, the houses that were built by county councils, they were supposed to benefit the poor, but the rich, some of the rich benefited illegally, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I still beseech, especially the committee, during the committee of the whole house, we bring amendments, especially on the capping. When initially the levy came through the finance bill, it was 3% and capped at 2,500 for the employee and 2,500 for the employer. I hope this, in their own wisdom, we should be able to cap it, Mr. Speaker, so that at least our people don't, it doesn't become punitive, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we beseech our colleagues to support this bill. This bill is very progressive. Even our colleagues from Azimio, they had this particular housing agenda in the manifesto. So I don't know why they are coming to oppose it, because they didn't take power. If they won, they would be asking us to support. So we are asking you, colleagues, please let's support, let's help our people so that they can get affordable houses, so that the keepers of this Kenya will be a thing of the past. In fact, most of the beneficiaries of the affordable housing, Madam Speaker, are the supporters of Azimio. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Nataka kuchukua nafasi hii, Bwana Spika, kushukuru kwa kunipa nafasi na mimi nitoe maoni yangu kuhusu huu mswada wa leo. Bwana Spika, Kenya kila mwaka huwa tunatakikana tutoe nyumba 250,000, lakini zile ambazo zinajengwa kila mwaka ni 50,000 peke yake. Kwa hivyo kwa kila mwaka tunakosa 200,000 katika nyumba ambazo zinatakana ziwe zimejengwa Kenya hii. Bwana Spika, sisi tukisema tuunge mkono ujenzi wa manyumba katika Kenya na tusimame nyuma ya serikali hii, tunasema kwa sababu kuna shida, kuna ukosefu mkubwa wa nyumba kila sehemu ya Kenya. La pili, Bwana Spika, katika wale ambao tulikuwa tumesimama upande wa serikali na upande wa upinzani, sote Bwana Spika tulizungumzia hili swala na tulikuwa
could you resume your seat, Senator Mugatana?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I rise under standing order number 98 combined with standing order number 1. Mr. Speaker, just when we were starting this week, Mr. Speaker, the minority side did complain about something that affects the operation of this House. And I want just to plead, Mr. Speaker, that we should not be sorting our issues on media. We should be sorting our issues on this, in this House.
What's your point of order, Senator Eddy?
Mr. Speaker, you have called 3 people from that side consecutively, and nobody from this side, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddy,
I watched.
Senator
no,
Eddy.
Let me just prosecute on this matter.
Order,
because
senators.
This matter,
Order, senators. Senator Eddy.
General Gay, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the Speaker. Unless you're the Speaker of the House, then you can be able to talk to me.
Order, Senator Eddy.
Okay?
Senator Eddy, order, please. You cannot direct the chair, but that point is noted.
I'm not directing the chair.
Resume your seat.
I am just raising an issue that...
Order, Senator Eddy.
Mr. Chair, I'm just raising an issue politely.
Order, Senator Eddy.
For the purposes of bipartisan.
I'm telling you for the last time, resume your seat, Senator Eddy. Senator Mugatana, proceed. Proceed to conclude your contributions, Senator Mugatana. Order, honorable members. Majority Leader, Senator Omogeni, resume your seat. Conclude your submissions.
Kila kaunti ya Kenya, hata kaunti yetu ya Tana River. Bwana Spika, hizi nafasi za kazi zinaenda kuchangia kupunguza upungufu wa nafasi za kazi hapa Kenya. Tunaambiwa kutoka kwa serikali ya kwamba upungufu wa kazi sahihi kwa vijana wetu wanaomaliza shule ni milioni 5. Tunataka kutoa nafasi za kazi kwa vijana wetu. Kwa hivyo tukianza programu hii, Bwana Spika, vijana wetu wengi watapata kazi. Bwana Spika, mimi nimefurahia sana nilipoona ripoti ya chairman wa kamati ambayo inahusika na mambo ya ardhi na mambo ya manyumba, akisema ya kwamba sheria hii ambayo tunatengeza, Bwana Spika, inaunda bodi katika kila kaunti, na hizi bodi bwana Spika zitasaidia kuleta mawazo tofauti wakati ambao tunaenda kutumia hela ambazo tutazichukua kupitia sheria hii. Bwana Spika, kwa mfano kule Tana River hatungependa kujengewa skyscrapers ama nyumba ambazo zinaenda juu. Tuko na nafasi kubwa, tuko na ardhi kubwa Bwana Spika, na sisi tunataka tujengewe nyumba zile tumezoea Bwana Spika. Wengine tukipandishwa majumba ya juu tunakuwa na wasiwasi hizi nyumba zinaweza kuanguka, na tumeona kwa TV Bwana Spika mambo haya yakifanyika. Kule kwetu tuko na nafasi kubwa, na tungependa wakati ambao hizi nyumba zinajengwa ziwe zinajengwa kuhusiana na matakwa ya wananchi wa sehemu hiyo. Bwana Spika, pia mapendekezo mapya ambayo yamekuja kupitia kamati ni kwamba tutapeleka pesa directly kwa counties. Bwana Spika, hizi pesa zikija kwa kaunti zetu zitakuwa na nafasi ya kusaidia wananchi wetu wapate kujenga nyumba vile inavyostahili kutokana na kule ambako wanatoka.
Your time is up, Senator Mugatana. I've got 2 points of orders. I'll start with the point of order by Dr. Lengwe, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to move the following motion, that pursuant to Standing Order 34-4A, the Senate extends its sitting until conclusion of business. Until conclusion of Order 13. I call upon the Majority Whip, Dr. Khalwale, to second.
Proceed, Senator, to second. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that pursuant to Standing Order 34-4A, the Senate extends its sitting until the conclusion of business of Order number 13, the Standing Order. Now, my dashboard is
So this standing order,
yes.
you need to dispose of that. It should just be done before that. That means before.
Order members, order members, order members, order members, order, honorable members. Members, this is a motion that has been pursuant to Standing Order 34-4, and under Standing Order 34-5, this motion is supposed to be dispensed with 30 minutes before the time, and we have got 2 minutes within which to dispense with that motion. So, honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to Standing Order 34-4A, the Senate extends its sitting until the conclusion of Order number 13. Honorable members, may of that opinion say aye. May of those order members, order members, order honorable members, order honorable members, order honorable members. Senator Sifuna, order, please. Senator Sifuna, order. Senator Sifuna, order. Order, members. Order, members. Order, order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order, order, Senator Eddy. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Senate extends its sitting until the conclusion of order number 13. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that the Senate extends its sitting until the conclusion of order number 13. Order members, honorable members, order please. I proceed to ask, will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, we will now proceed with the debate on the contribution to the bill, and I'll ask Senator Okoiti Andrew Omtata. Senator Omtata, proceed your contribution.
Mr. Speaker, sir, protect me from the
Order members. Senator Mundigi, resume your seat. Senator Kinyua, please resume your seat. Honorable members, can the senator be heard in silence? Proceed, Senator Okoiti.
I have lost some time. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'll begin by saying that the Kenya Kwanza side seems to have made unconstitutional promises to the people of Kenya. From what I've been saying, that they are premising this thing on their manifesto. Number two, I would like also to inform them that I'm not part of the Azimio. There's a third side, I'm an independent voice. I'm not part of Azimio, so I did not have anything on affordable housing. Point number three, there was a decision of the court, and this bill has not addressed it at all. Questions of discrimination are still there. Questions of violating the Constitution are still there. And discrimination in the nature that there's a mandatory requirement on salaried employees to contribute, but a voluntary requirement on other people, or a voluntary opportunity for others to contribute. There's no universal application of the law. Also, the court clarified between policy and implementation, but looks like the National Assembly and the executive have taken upon themselves the implementation role, which is supposed to be vested in the counties. Number three, the Constitution requires access to housing. Affordable housing does not prescribe ownership of affordable housing. And all over the world, the state is always required to provide access, not ownership to housing. So where the Kenyan government is getting the impression that it can expand the Constitution or the Parliament, I don't know. Access cannot be read to mean ownership. So the entire act violates Article 43, Clause 1, Clause B, upon which it purports to be anchored. It's also an arbitrary denial of arbitrary deprivation of property from the salaried employees to demand that they should part with salaries in a forcible fund. It's a mechanism of forcing people into associations contrary to the Constitution. This thing is unconstitutional, and it will remain unconstitutional whatever color it takes, whatever shape it takes, whatever test it takes. It's unconstitutional. And finally, it's most unfortunate that we are debating an important bill and members are given only 4 minutes. It is not possible to give your ideas to ventilate this bill in 4 minutes. If we are extending the time to a point when we are doing that, why are we giving ourselves 4 minutes? Why are we muscling? Why are we gagging people who would like to ventilate the bill? So I would like that to go on record that it was a wrong thing to do, to gag members by limiting the time by which they can debate. And I also support Senator for Isiolo, for Garissa, who said that the bill violates the principles of Islamic religion, which are specifically exempted under the Constitution when making bills. Thank you very much.
Senator Gloria Uroba.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to proudly support the affordable housing, Mr. Speaker, and not just because it creates jobs for the youth. Not just because it creates jobs, Mr. Speaker. I want to support this because it is what Kenya needs, Mr. Speaker. And by the way, we need to be alive to the fact that change is inevitable. Senators from the opposition need to understand that an election was won based on promises that were given to Kenyans. One of the promises being affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, and I have even heard Senator Ledama try to explain how we should not do housing because ABCD. And when I was listening to him, I was wondering, these senior members of this house must understand the difference between social housing and affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. We are not talking about social housing. Whatever Senator Ledama was trying to talk about was social housing. And Mr. Speaker, when the Kenya Kwanza government is done with affordable housing successfully, then we are going to move now to deal with the issue of social housing, because even that is necessary. So, Mr. Speaker, as I support this affordable housing bill, I must say again and again and again, change is inevitable and development will be brought to Kenya by force, by fire. And if there is anybody who is going to ensure that this country moves to where it needs to go, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell every member in this house that it is His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, because he is the commander-in-chief. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, today being we are from the Women Caucus, Mr. Speaker. I can tell you that the men who are opposing this affordable housing, half the time they are not even at home. They do not understand the deplorable houses that they are living, all the women who they have children with out there, Mr. Speaker. As a woman who is here in this house, Mr. Speaker, we want to live in conditions that are befitting for us women. So we are tired of living in the slums, and we are tired of you people just sending your baby mamas left, right, and center and coming to the house to fight affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, the president has the interests of all women at heart, and this is why when I support this bill, I want to say that I'll be at the front of that list to ensure that women are being prioritized, those women in the slums, those women who do not have any form of dignified living, Mr. Speaker. So I support this bill, and I urge Senator Ledama to go and read the difference between social housing and affordable housing. Thank you.
Senator Okech Eddie.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this time, and I think that I want to take this time to speak to the people who sent me to this house. And the great people of Migori. The people of Migori, I want to report to you that in the National Assembly, 2 MPs of Kenya Kwanza, just in this past weekend, went to their villages and chased KRA officials away, opposing a bill on taxation and finance bill that they so much championed for. And I'm telling the people of Migori that I'm in a Senate today that I can see the same trend of people standing to support what is wrong. And I can assure the people of Migori that I want to stand with you, telling you that the way the structure of this bill is, I cannot support it. More importantly, the way the debate around this bill is being rushed in this house, the way it is being forced in the throat of you, the people of Kenya today in this house, we are being given 4 minutes to be able to discuss this bill. We have been forced to extend the house without participating in the conversation about that particular motion, the people of Migori. I am telling you that this is why, even during Moi days, the repealing of Section 2A came about. We are going to the dictatorial times of Moi, and it's not only happening at the national level, it's also happening in the house that you send me to. And I can assure you that there are
ways of dealing with this matter. I don't support this housing bill.
What is
and in the protest of how the speakers today ran this particular house towards this discussion, I am going to walk out of this house in protest. I'm going to walk out of this house in protest
the chair is
of how the chair has treated us in this house.
Senator Eddy, resume your seat. What's your point of intervention, Senator Abdul?
Mr. Speaker, sir, can the senator stop misleading this House and the public and tell him to substantiate on who exactly forced who? Where is Ruto here? Is Ruto in this House?
Senator Eddy.
If senators have decided that the debate is going to be 4 minutes and we're going to extend the House, who is forcing who? It's the senators who've decided.
Mr. Speaker, the president of this country, President William Ruto, where he sits, he knows that I've got nothing against him. But he believes in what I believe in, that as a president, he will come and go. We as politicians will come and go. And when all this thing is done, it is our children. It is our children who will be able to live with the consequences of bad laws that we are making. The person who is saying that tutawacha manyumba, Mr. Speaker, the person who is saying that tutawacha manyumba, Mr. Speaker, is somebody who is enjoying serious mortgage, is somebody who is enjoying serious mortgage, and he knows very well that this particular proposal that we are having here is people in Embu are staying in villages. The president is proposing that the houses are being made in Nairobi, not villages, where his people are living in thatched houses, where his people are living
Mr. Eddy, you want to be informed.
Mr. Speaker, can you protect me? My time is still here.
You want to be informed.
Mr. Speaker, may you protect me?
Order, Senator
Mr.
Abbas.
Speaker.
Your time is up, Senator Eddy. You are protected, Senator Eddy, but your time, unfortunately, is up. Resume your seat. Resume your seat, Senator Eddy. Order, Senator Karungu. Order, please. Order, honorable members. Let us give an opportunity to members who've been given the time to speak. Senator Mundigi.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa ruhusa niweze kuchangia mambo ya kujenga manyumba, na ningetaka kusema kama kuna watu hawai kukataa mambo ya manyumba ni Senator Okechi na pia Senator Landama, kwa sababu mwaka 2005 nilikuwa huko Kisii, pahali inaitwa Gogo, pahali na Migori, pahali hakuna chochote. Kwa hivyo ningeomba kama serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, kitu ya kwanza ile kaunti ya Kisii nyuma ingeanza huko, kwa sababu hakuna tofauti sana kubwa sana ya Embu na Kisii. Na ninakumbuka vizuri mambo ya manyumba, watu 150 wameajiriwa, ni vijana wetu, ni wachana wetu, wengine ni watu wa kujenga, wengine ni watu wa stima, wengine ni wa kusafisha. Kwa hivyo saa hii hata hakuna ukora vijijini na kila kona zote. Kwa hiyo naunga mkono kaunti zote zile zinaendelea kujenga manyumba, kwa sababu kaunti nyingi najua saa hii mijengo inaendelea ni nyumba karibu 2,000. Hiyo ingine naunga mkono kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza kwa ile kazi inafanya, na inaomba iendelee hivyo kwa kipindi ya miaka ile itakuwako miaka 5 na ingine miaka ile ingine miaka 10. Kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza itapitisha hiyo mambo ya kujenga manyumba iende katika sub county, ndio mambo ya economy iweze kupandika katika county zetu. Nataka kuambia Senate ya Kenya, wale watu wote wako hapa, watu wengi tumetembea, kama mimi nimeenda Colorado, nimeenda North Carolina, nimeenda Dubai. Ile mambo nimeona huko haikuanza saa hii, ilianza na mambo mengi. Kwa sababu nakumbuka hata ukienda kule mambo watu wanalamika mambo ya gari, vile mtu analipa kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni shilingi 100. Kule unalipa masaa 2 shilingi 200, na ikiisha hiyo masaa unaondoka. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, walio wengi na walio wachache tuungane pamoja, ndio tuweze kupitisha mambo ya kujenga manyumba, ndio tuweze kupandilisha Kenya yetu juu ya economy recovery na kila mambo ingine. Kwa hivyo nataka kukosoa wale walio wachache, watuunge mkono serikali ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua kwa hii kipindi ya miaka 5 na ingine miaka 5. Tutaendelea hivyo na tutawashinda, na mambo ya nyumba itakuwa inaonekana kila kona sote. Sio mambo ya manyumba peke yake, kuna mambo mengi inavaa serikali ya Kenya iweze kuangalia. Tumeona mambo ya fertilizer, mambo mingi tumeona. Kwa hivyo tuunge mkono serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Asante. Sisi watu wa Embu County, nikiwa nimesimama hapa ni Embu County imesimama. Ni mimi Senator wa Embu County Alexander Munyimondigi, Deputy Party Leader Democratic Kenya Kwanza. Asante Bwana Speaker, naunga mkono.
Order members, order members, order honorable members. Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, nothing surprises me anymore these days. I have listened quietly in shock as a classmate of mine at the University of Nairobi Law School misleads the House on the provisions of the fourth schedule of the Constitution of this country that very clearly, Mr. Speaker, distinguishes between housing policy that is a national government and housing itself, which is a devolved function. Mr. Speaker, there will be passionate representations from our colleagues from the majority, but I have lived long enough to see in the space of less than 6 months people arguing as passionately as I can see my colleagues in the majority arguing for a bill in the National Assembly, the finance bill, only for them to turn around and realize that what they were arguing very passionately for was something that was against the interest of their own people. We in the minority have objected to this bill, and I want to go on record as objecting to this bill on principle, because we believe that housing is a devolved function, and as a senator sworn to protect devolution and the interest of their counties, I cannot in good faith support this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, in the fullness of time, I want to believe that one day reason will come to our country. But as it is right now, because we understand our position, as a minority, we know we are outnumbered in this House. As a whip, I can only guarantee 16 votes in support of devolution in this House. I know that I am in the minority. But what is heartbreaking, Honorable Speaker, is that a key tenet of democracy being that the minority must have their say, even that we are being denied by limitation of debate on such an important bill from the maximum 20 minutes to 4 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I would have come with all my notes and explanations as to why I oppose this particular bill. But the most important thing is that the government and the people in the majority have totally lost contact with the feelings and place of the ordinary Kenyans. One of the biggest objections to this particular bill is the actual levy. If you look at the ordinary people's pay slips, Mr. Speaker, they can no longer be able to carry any more burden. People have been taxed to the bone, Mr. Speaker. So that even if you look at the pay slips of these members of parliament here, many of them are going to be earning negative salaries if you impose this particular bill, this particular levy. And that is not to talk about or to mention people in the civil service, teachers, police officers, people who are earning very little money, Mr. Speaker, and the economy is in the doldrums. So when we come here, and because we know we have the numbers we're going to load or ramp the bill through, it is all fun and games for now. And of course, as a politician, I pray that one of these fine days, we will be in the position that you are now, but that at least for us, we know that we will use the power that we get for good and not to ram things through simply because we have the numbers. Mr. Speaker, in this House, if we are going to continue like this, then possibly there is no point of debating. We should behave the way the Speaker has behaved today, putting the question without bothering to hear the other side. Mr. Speaker, we know we don't have the votes to carry through these bills and these motions. Please allow us to speak on them. That is the key tenet of democracy. And I can say, without fear of ever, that today I'm embarrassed, Mr. Speaker, that you are my classmate at the law school in the University of Nairobi. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Rita Mulgor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also add my voice
to those of my colleagues. I think up front, I would like to say that I very strongly support the housing motion because for those of us that have lived outside this country, we have enjoyed housing that are made and built and set up by governments using taxes of the citizens. I remember I was working as a librarian in a university and a foreign student, and whatever little money I got after working for 2 weeks, the system made sure that I paid tax, whether I liked or not, and whether I was a student or a full-time worker. And so we visit places and see wonderful housing setting, and people live in better houses, and we wish it happens in Kenya. And it cannot happen unless we go by the way of taxation and housing levy, the way the government has set. And in addition to living in better houses, in better settings, job opportunities are guaranteed, that people that have probably not been able to work and earn anything will now earn from these constructions that are going on. And they will be able to pay school fees for their children, and they will be able to make ends meet as a result of working in these constructions. And then secondly is the fact that there will be materials purchased in hardwares and many places, and even people that probably have trees and so on. My colleague Mungatana was talking about building houses that are not in flats, but or tall houses. So he will be busy providing poles and posts so that the elevation or elevated settings will be able to benefit from those trees and poles. And therefore, this will change the nation, this will change housing and also job opportunities. I support.
Senator Mogeni Eric.
Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record that I'm a very, very disappointed senator. Mr. Speaker, I combed through the court decision that nullified the housing bill. And I came here as a senator knowing that I'll get the benefit of getting 20 minutes so that we can reason together, Mr. Speaker. But instead, Mr. Speaker, you want to push things down our throat by even denying us the right to speak on behalf of the people of Nyamira who have elected us. This is not the democracy that we fought for. And we must suffer collective shame. All over the world, Mr. Speaker, a Senate, an upper house is a deliberative house. We don't mind you pushing through laws, but give us a right to at least go on record that we have said what we need to say as the minority side, Mr. Speaker. What am I going to say in 4 minutes, Mr. Speaker? This is the High Court decision I'm holding. What can I say in 4 minutes? Nothing, Mr. Speaker. It's really a shame. It's a shame. I'm carrying 600,000 votes from Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. And if you think that these people is popular with the people of Nyamira, it will hit you when you go to the ground. I saw Senator Kaluale on TV, Citizen, cheating the people of Malinya, Isuha, that the affordable housing is a scheme for them to save money. It's not, Mr. Speaker. It's not. Mr. Speaker, I want to
Senator,
state...
there is a point of order by the majority leader. What is your point of order, Majority Leader?
While I could allow other senators to get away with certain things and insults that have been traded this evening, I don't think I can allow the senior counsel. He's an elder of the SDA Church. He's a senior counsel. He's a respected member of this house. He knows very well that you cannot have it on record that you accuse another colleague of cheating. That is unparliamentary, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can you request the senator of Nyamira to either withdraw and apologize or substantiate? There is no even substantiation because the word is unparliamentary. Cheating is an unparliamentary word, and he knows that, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni, you...
I withdraw the word misleading, cheating, and put misleading. Are you comfortable with that? Yes. And even,
proceed,
Mr.
Senator
Speaker,
Mogeni.
even the teachers of Kericho. I was in Kericho this week and I had tea in Kericho, Mr. Speaker. And they told me the teachers of Kericho don't want this thing called affordable housing. The teachers in Nyamira told me they don't want this thing called affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. My farmers in Nyamira don't want this thing called affordable housing. On Sunday, Mr. Speaker, I had dinner with 2 Catholic priests. They told me the William Ruto, President William Ruto they are seeing is not the William Ruto they saw then, Mr. Speaker. The expectation of the poor Kenyans were that the houses will be built, Mr. Speaker, for the less fortunate in society, Mr. Speaker. Now you have come up with something that you are telling us Kenyans are going to buy. Which Kenyans? And the middle class in this country is earning 46,000 shillings. Already, Mr. Speaker, if you got, I've been sent a payslip as I was seated here by a teacher, earning 49, tax has taken everything, Mr. Speaker. For whom are you constructing these houses, Mr. Speaker? For whom? Section 2A was rushed on an afternoon on the floor of this parliament, Mr. Speaker. We had to revisit it. The country went through a lot of turmoil before it was deleted, Mr. Speaker. I was in Libya in 2009. Nobody could dare question Gaddafi. I was there with 2 members of parliament. Gaddafi thought everything he said could be law. That's not the way you run a country, Mr. Speaker. You allow people to debate issues, allow us to put across our thoughts. Then we pass legislation that carry both Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. But if you continue this way, Mr. Speaker, we are on the wrong road.
Your time is up, Senator Mogeni. Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, nataka kuunga mkono mswada huu wa bei nafuu. Bwana Spika, nilipokuja katika seneti hii, nilisimama pale, Bwana Spika, nikasema ya kwamba nitailinda, nitaitetea, na nataka kuongeza nitaitekeleza katiba. Bwana Spika, ukisoma katika kipengee 43 cha katiba, kinasema ya kwamba wananchi wa Kenya wanapaswa kupewa nyumba ambazo ni zinawafaa, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ni vizuri ijulikane.
What's your point of order, Senator Sifuna? Resume your seat, Senator Kinywa.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Senator for Laikipia to mislead this House as to the contents of Article 43 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker? Because I have a copy of the Constitution that I swore to defend here, Mr. Speaker. It starts by isolating the key rights of the people, highest sustainable standard of health, freedom from hunger. Have you finished freedom from hunger before you tell us about housing? Mr. Speaker, clean, safe, and water in adequate quantities. So, Mr. Speaker, for you to elevate housing over the food for the people of this country, safe housing, health, safe hospitals, then you are just lying to us, Mr. Speaker. He's misleading us. He's misleading the House as to the contents of the Constitution.
I believe, Senator Sifuna, you must have been listening. He was debating in Swahili, so maybe the language could have... No, resume your seat, Senator Sifuna. Resume your seat. Please,
Bwana Spika,
Proceed.
mswada ulio mbele yangu, Bwana Spika, mswada ulio mbele yangu ni mambo kuhusu nyumba. Mambo ya njaa, Bwana Spika, tumeyashughulikia vilivyo, tumewapatia pembejeo, Bwana Spika, na yeye mwenyewe alipokuwa akizunguka na sufuria kichwani, sisi tushughulikia mambo ya wananchi wa Kenya, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, wacha nisije nikachanganywa na Bwana Spika, ni kazi ya serikali, Bwana Spika, kufanya kwamba kushughulikia wananchi wake, kuwapatia makazi, Bwana Spika. Na hivi sasa, Bwana Spika, vile ambavyo mswada huu tunapitisha, niposa Wakenya wengi, Bwana Spika, wanaoishi katika hali ya uchochole, Bwana Spika, waweze kupata angalau makao. Na sasa, Bwana Spika, mswada huu utashughulikia haya mambo, kwa sababu, Bwana Spika, tulipokuwa tukitembea katika Jamhuri ya Kenya tukifanya kampeni, tuliwaahidi wa Kenya mambo ya manyumba, Bwana Spika, na ya bei nafuu. Bwana Spika, siku ya leo haya ndio mambo tunayaangazia na tunapaswa kuyafanya. Jambo lingine, Bwana Spika, sio tu haya manyumba, Bwana Spika, yatakuwa yakiwa wanufaisha wa Kenya wetu. Bwana Spika, mimi niko katika hii kamati ya barabara na mambo ya manyumba. Hii kamati, watu wa jua kali, watu wa matatu walikuja na wakaleta mapendekezo yao, wakasema ya kwamba itawasaidia zaidi, Bwana Spika, kwa mambo ya kazi. Hao ndugu zetu ambao ni wahandisi, maseremara na waashi wataweza kupata kazi, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, mswada huu utakuwa ukiangazia kuwasaidia Wakenya, Bwana Spika, na mambo ya kazi, mambo ya manyumba, Bwana Spika, ili hali ndio watu wetu waache kukaa hali duni, Bwana Spika. Lakini naposikiza ndugu zangu wanasheria hawa wawili, Bwana Spika, wakiongea, mimi napigwa na butwa, kwa sababu, Bwana Spika, tunaongea kuhusu shida za manyumba, lakini kwa wao nyumba sio shida. Wao shida zao ni vile ambavyo hizi nyumba zinaweza, tuongei kuhusu zile nyumba ziko sehemu. Bwana Spika, maneno yananisumbua kwa sababu nyumba ambazo tunasema sisi, pengine hawa ndugu zangu hawajatembea mashinani waone shida wananchi walizonazo. Nimesikia wakisema ya kwamba nyumba hazijaanza kutengenezwa. Bwana Spika, juzi tulikuwa mji wa Nanyuki tunatengeneza hizi nyumba na tayari tumeanza kutengeneza na vijana wanashukuru na wanasema asanti.
Your time is up, Senator Kinyua. Senator Osotsi, Godfrey Atieno.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. From the onset, I want to declare that, Mr. Speaker, I'm opposed to this bill because this bill, as Senator Mtata has said, it has not healed or cured the issues that were raised in court. Under Article 10, Article 201, Article 206, and 210. It still has loopholes which makes it unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, you know that the court issued an injunction on the 19th of December 20 on the issue of public participation. This bill, or this process that culminated into this debate today, has not cured the problem of inadequate public participation. Mr. Speaker, if I read through the report in this bill, the committee simply invited the public to present memorandums, and they only had one day where they received oral submission. Mr. Speaker, because this bill affects counties, it was only reasonable that all the 47 counties be involved in public participation. That never happened. Mr. Speaker, when you look at this report, this House has a standard that all reports that come to this House must have an adoption list to it. This report, I have gone through it, Mr. Speaker, and I'm having a copy here. There is no adoption list. So who adopted this report? And I want to ask the clerks who work in committees and our secretariat. You are here to be professional. Give this House or members professional input. But if you allow such omissions to happen on a very important report, you are only giving ammunition to those people who are going to court to reject this bill if it is passed into law. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the bill, allocation of funds from the Affordable Housing Fund, they say the funds will be distributed to National Housing Corporation, Kenya Slum Upgrading, Low Cost Housing and Infrastructure Fund, and the State Department of Housing and Urban Development. Mr. Speaker, for heaven's sake, why would a ministry be involved in affordable housing, construction, and doing all that, when we have an institution called the National Housing Corporation, which is supposed to do that on behalf of the government of Kenya? Mr. Speaker, this bill does not define what gross salary is, what gross income is. It is ambiguous. And I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker, that the space for public participation is not in this bill. Why would we even go to public participation when we know we are not going to listen or incorporate the views of the people who appear? I have gone through the report. The views submitted by the members of public and even government institutions were ignored by the committee. Most importantly, the view by the Kenya Bankers Association, we said that persons who already have their own houses be exempted from this. Why are you forcing people who have houses to be levied this money? And in any case, you have to apply before you get this house. Mr. Speaker, there is also punitive aspects in this bill. The 3% penalty per month is so huge. If you calculate it per annum, it comes to 36%, which is even way beyond the
Senator Osotsi, your time is up. Senator Abbas Mohammed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think, if we keep on bossing and not reading the report, the bill, the report there's a lot of changes that has taken place, actually. Because initially, I was one of the opposers, to be honest with you. But having read the report, I want to commend the committee. They have done a commendable job to include various issues. Honorable Speaker, according to the Bill of Rights, the economic and social rights, it's actually Article 43. It is every person has the right to access an adequate housing, accessible and adequate housing. So, as I talk to you today, Wajir, there's a constellation that is going on. Wajir people have accepted, and there are 200 units already that have started. That means it's affordable and accessible, because that's going 1,000 kilometers. Therefore, let's not oppose these things for the sake of opposing. Two, the county now is included in this bill. Yes. That the committee has included. The county is going to have 5 members as a committee, yes, of which they will receive 0.5% of the levy for their operations, which was not there before. 2, they have reduced the KRA amount. Initially it was 2%, now it is 0.5%. 3, there will be a national board that will be receiving 2%. That means this board now will take care of the interest of all people. 4, there is what you call the rural housing. If you have a land in Wajir and you want to construct it, then you're allowed to take your title deed to the board, and so that you can be given, that you can be constructed a house where you will be paying 3%. Affordable house. In every country in this world, especially the developed countries, affordable houses are there. The tenants are buying these houses as they stay in that house and they pay rents. I don't see there's something unusual here. There's nothing unusual really. Maybe we'll need to have, I'll tell my colleagues in the other side, let's accept the bill and then bring some regulations that we can, something like, the amendments and regulations. Probably if somebody has a house and he doesn't want to contribute, then we can change it. Maybe we must also, I know this thing is not favoring the Muslims, but we change it. We can now bring a regulation to say, and instead of saying a loan or interest, then we say we pay service charge. So this thing is not closed. So with those few remarks, I want to support the bill.
Thank you, Senator Abbas. Senator Siengo Kalunda Beth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to oppose this bill for the very simple reason that it is not friendly to the Kenyans. It is not good for the welfare of Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, when we talk of affordable housing, the houses are for who? Considering a county where I come from, Kitui County, we come from our own houses. We live in the villages. We have our own houses. People have taken loans to construct or to build their own homes. When we talk of houses, who are they for? Taking different professionals. For example, from the teaching profession. Teachers, their first project when they get employed is to build their own houses at home. They took loans. Now here they are going to be penalized if they now default in these houses. How is it going to benefit the teachers, these houses? Mr. Speaker, I say a big no to this bill, and I urge my friends from the other side, please don't pin down Kenyans. Let us all say no to this bill, and then we come up with good mechanism of how to support Kenyans, because the economy is already bad. And now when we are being charged for the housing, our payslips are already bleeding. We are really pained by what we are going through because of this bad economy. Mr. Speaker, this housing bill is a big no for me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tobiko Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am shocked. I am shocked, Mr. Speaker, because of the members from the minority side who are opposing this bill. Mr. Speaker, it is on record that both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, when we were all campaigning, each side had the housing program as part of their agenda should they take government. Mr. Speaker, is it becoming a problem today because it is their competitors who got to get into government and have gotten the first chance to implement the housing program for Kenyans? Mr. Speaker, I'm also shocked because, Mr. Speaker, a number of people I have heard from the minority side who are against this bill have been with us in the committee, Mr. Speaker, because I want to go on record that I'm the vice chairperson of the Committee on Housing, Roads and Transport, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we went through memorandums by the public, by many groups, including the Bankers Association, including the Juakali people, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, including the Matatu people, Mr. Speaker. We have listened to them, those who have appeared before the committee and those who have sent memorandums, Mr. Speaker. And so for any person who would want to say that there was no public participation, I would welcome them.
Senator Sifuna, what's your point of intervention? Give him the mic, Mr. Clark. Proceed, Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, I'm rising pursuant to Standing Order 105 on responsibility for statements of fact. There is a lie that has been repeated on this floor repeatedly that, in fact, the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto and the Azimio Manifesto had the very same proposals on housing. Mr. Speaker, we want to put an end to this lie by asking the Honorable Senator Tobiko to substantiate, because I, as a member of the Azimio coalition, do not recall us proposing to tax Kenyans to the bone to build houses that they do not need. So I would want her to table those two manifestos, point out to this house where it says we were going to tax Kenyans in order for them to have these affordable houses. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Senator Tobiko, and where appropriate, respond to the point of order in terms of
Mr. Speaker, I was very clear. I said we all had in our manifestos issues to do with housing programs. I have not talked about taxing Kenyans, but we all had plans to improve the living standards of Kenyans, which include the housing, improving their living standards, Mr. Speaker, by giving them livable environments, Mr. Speaker, housing being part of that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Article 43(1) of the Constitution talks about the highest standards of health for Kenyans, accessible and adequate housing, Mr. Speaker, and so we are not going out of the Constitution by passing this law so that we have Kenyans getting adequate and affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. Which we should also have reasonable standards of sanitation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we were going through this, in fact, a number of the groups that appeared before the committee are Nairobians, and I'm shocked because Senator Sifuna is a member of that committee, and he was there when some of these groups appeared, Mr. Speaker. And if there are people who need housing, Mr. Speaker, it is people in the slums, in Nairobi, as it is in Kajiado today, Geshagi and Majengo and other areas of our towns. Mr. Speaker, I thought this is something we all aspired to do for Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, what is paining majority of the people here is that it is those of us who have salaries, it is those of us with pay slips who are going to bear the burden for the sake of the majority of Kenyans who do not have. Mr. Speaker, I have agreed to be taxed. I have agreed to contribute in order for my...
Senator Tobiko, your time is up. Senator Keroche Tabitha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to support this bill. I know this bill has been politicized for so many days and months, but I only remember the time we came in power and were taken through induction, and I remember being given how this housing, affordable housing, will go through. I mean, the process, its process. And I remember it's a very good thing because it will ensure everybody has a decent home. I remember the money that those people are paying the rent as today is the same money they used to pay and then own that house. It is the same money that they will pay, and I hope Sifuna is listening to me, Senator Sifuna. It's the same money they will pay. If somebody was paying 2,000 shillings, if somebody was paying 2,000 shillings, he'll use the same 2,000 shillings to pay the same rent he was paying and finally own this home. The money that will be deducted will be refunded at a certain period. When you go to Europe, we all fly to Europe. We come back to say how people are living well, how everybody is living in a decent life. That's how it was done. That's how it was done. And I think we'll be the first in Africa to ensure that our lives now, or how we live, our people are living decent lives like the way we compare ourselves other countries like the Europe. So let's not politicize this. When we know.
Senator Tabitha, resume your seat. There is a point of order from Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Allow me to inform the Senator for Great County of Nakuru that you cannot compare Kenya with Europe. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beth. Senator Beth.
You cannot compare Kenya with Europe. When we are talking of Kenya and
Shengo, resume your seat, please. Resume your seat. Your intervention is on a point of information, but I didn't hear her accepting that information unless she desires to be informed. Senator Tabitha, do you desire to be informed by Senator Beth?
Since now I've had the information she wanted to give me, I don't need to be informed.
Proceed.
And I would really want to ensure that the senator understands what I said. We all fly to Europe and we come back here in Kenya and start talking of the Europe, how people are living decently. That's how they started 100 years ago, others 300 years ago. And that is now we, the Kenya Kwanza government, we are the ones to start.
Resume your seat. What's your point of order, Senator Okoichi?
I'm one fellow who doesn't like standing on points of order, but I'm compelled to do so. Pursuant to order number 105. Can the Honorable Senator substantiate her claim that Europe, the housing system in Europe, is anchored on similar parameters that are in this bill, especially the taxation of salaried employees to provide housing for the rest? I think I would love to see that substantiation from the Honorable Senator for Nakuru.
Proceed, Senator Tabitha.
What I think I need to tell my senator from Busia is that Europe is where it is because of some people took some effort and made it be where it is. We are the people now to ensure Kenya gets to the next level. We have no alternative. It's only that you regret maybe having been the senator at this time, but you have no alternative now but to take. Okay, for me, I think for me.
Proceed to conclude.
Can I conclude, because I think I have only maybe a minute now. A minute now. Let me conclude.
Order members, allow Senator Kerojo to be heard in silence. Conclude your comments. Proceed, Senator Tabitha.
I think everybody. We keep on saying. How's it? Yes, I think we have one saying that is across the board. At we don't nyumba haijengwi the same, as equals the same, all of them. So how Europe did theirs, they did theirs. We have a formula now on how to do ours, and ours is to ensure people can pay this, and they use the same money. They use the same money that they were paying rent. Let's not confuse Kenyans. The same money they were using, they are paying rent is the.
Your time is up, Senator Tabitha. Senator Tabitha, your time is up. Please, and listen to the chair. Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, you know we want to have an orderly session, and we have no intention of disrupting debate. But pursuant to Standing Order 98.3, the Speaker is required to make a decision on each point of order. Now, Senator Omtata has raised a point of order on a point that was brought to the floor by the Senator for Nakuru, a claim that she has made. I have not heard the chair rule on the point of order by Senator Omtata. And if we are going to have orderly debate, Honorable Chair, I beseech you, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
The chair is responding to
Let me finish.
Order,
how do you respond to something I've not finished? How do you respond? I've not finished.
Resume your seat, please.
Let me finish.
Resume your seat.
Allow me to finish.
I'll call you out of order.
Allow me to finish, Speaker.
I will call
Allow
you
me
out
to
of
finish.
order.
Allow me to finish.
I will call you out of order.
Allow
Senator
me to
Sifuna.
finish.
Resume your seat.
Before you respond, allow me to finish.
Resume your seat, Senator Sifuna. Now, listen, Senator Sifuna. Senator Omtata raised a point of order to be substantiated. Senator Keroche indeed attempted to substantiate upon the chair asking her to proceed, and she did that subject to the time limit that her time went out. And therefore, that was sufficient since the chair had directed that she proceeds. Senator Cherargei, proceed. Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise by supporting this God-sent bill before the House, Mr. Speaker. I think this is long overdue. We should not waste a lot of time because Kenyans and young people, including Nandi, and I've just interacted with Nairobians a few minutes ago, and they are yearning for this, Mr. Speaker. It is sad that the people who are crying the loudest are the ones who need these houses, Mr. Speaker. Because most houses in slums, we need to give dignity to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. And when the courts ruled that we must have a legislation, it was important, Mr. Speaker. I want to say, number two, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy this bill has ensured that the county governments has a role to play. And Senate being protectors of devolution, Mr. Speaker, we now have a role in the affordable housing program, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the third point I wanted to make is on the issue of the wording of the bill. I agree that it should be called rural and urban affordable housing program so that people in Chepalungu and Kable, Lartet, and even Taptengele and other areas of this republic, Mr. Speaker, should have opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of affordable housing program is important for this country. I don't see the need why we should fight over it, Mr. Speaker. Today, as we talk, Oma Bay affordable housing program is ongoing, yet it is an ODM zone, Mr. Speaker. Kisumu, the affordable housing program is ongoing, yet the governor and the other members are from ODM, Mr. Speaker. Even here is in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. What I want to urge my colleagues, I have seen most of my colleagues from the minority side making the loudest noise in matangas and funerals and baby showers and bridal showers, telling Kenyans that they have numbers. Kumbe, they have numbers or phone numbers and they don't have numbers to object this God-sent bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I agree that all these issues that the courts have raised, we have captured, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, on the aspect of affordable housing, it was there. Even you had the opponent of President William Ruto in the last election agreeing that this issue of affordable housing was part of the cornerstone, Mr. Speaker. I think the issue is about interest. It is not even about the lawmaking process of this, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the stakeholders were satisfied. I remember, and you know, Parliament has been defined to be one under Article 93, Mr. Speaker. When the National Assembly Housing Committee moved around the country, the committee that was being read, Mr. Speaker, and they did adequate public participation, Mr. Speaker, even to Turkana, Mr. Speaker, even to Kisumu, to all parts of this country, Mr. Speaker. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, more than 4 to 6 million Kenyans do not have a dignified housing in this country,
Senator
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osotsi, Senator Cheriga, proceed to resume your seat.
Yes.
What's your point of order? Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on standing order number 105. My good friend Senator Cherargei has stated that the stakeholders who appeared before the committee were satisfied. Mr. Speaker, that is contrary to the report by the committee that shows that nearly all the stakeholders who appeared before the committee had a problem with this bill. But the committee, in its own wisdom, they went ahead and rejected what the stakeholders say. The report is there, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
I always do. Yes, if the chair can inform me kindly.
Senator Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am the chairperson of the Roads, Transportation and Housing Committee. And I want to state here, Mr. Speaker, we received 29 memoranda from the people, from Kenyans, and majority of them were supporting this bill, Mr. Speaker. And majority of them gave some very important recommendations, which we have put into consideration. We have 40 amendments coming, Mr. Speaker. 40 amendments that are coming to this bill to make sure it is devolution compliant, money is going to the counties, and houses are built in the rural areas. What else do you want? What else do you want when we build houses to Vihiga? You don't want, you still want people to stay in mud houses. But we want to create and build some nice houses. I'm informing. It is point of information.
Order, members.
Mr. Speaker, majority of people in his county.
Resume your seat, Senator Thangwa.
Mud houses will be a thing of the past.
Order, Senator Thangwa. Resume your seat. Senator Cherega, proceed to conclude.
Yeah, I'm concluding, Speaker. Speaker, you know I do my research very well, and I have the report of the committee. It is the same Senator Otsotsi who misled this house that these reports were unsigned. I have seen signatures that have been signed, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, you must vet some of these point of orders, Mr. Speaker. I can table, I have it in my phone, the report, because it is digital, Mr. Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker, although Senator Karungo Thangwa has informed me, Mr. Speaker, you know we are not in ODM rally. You know you are used to heckling. Can you please allow me to submit? Mr. Speaker, I want to table evidence that this report has been signed. And one of the members who sits in roads is Senator Sifuna, Mr. Speaker. You cannot, Nairobians need houses more than anybody else, Mr. Speaker. It is embarrassing that Senator Sifuna is opposing building of houses, Mr. Speaker, yet, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherege, your time is up. Resume your seat. Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I strongly oppose this bill. And the reason why I oppose this bill is because my people at Mavoko's homes were demolished so that affordable houses can be built. And I don't see why a house should be demolished for affordable house to be built. These people suffered so much to go and work and earn money to come and build their homes. Just their homes to be demolished. And Mr. Speaker, one of the people hanged himself. He literally killed himself when he saw his house going down. And very soon I'm bringing a statement here so that I can be told who will be responsible